You're watching F5. We're at GovWare 2022 in Singapore. My name is Boo. I'm a community evangelist with the F5 DevCentral team. And right now I'm actually joined by Anxi. Anxi's from OWASP. He's the co-lead for the Singapore chapter. And we've got James Lee. James is a solution architect here in Singapore as well with F5. So first question I'm going to ask you, Anxi. Can you tell us about anything unique that you might be noticing as far as OWASP when it comes to Singapore?
Well, I believe the situation here in Singapore is perhaps similar to what we face in perhaps the rest of Asia, where the awareness of OWASP, though is increasing among the developers, but it can be further improved. Because I'm still seeing fresh graduates from com science and computer engineering courses that have not heard about OWASP. So when I hear about that, it does sadden me.
Yeah.
So, but it also motivates me to do more to help promote the awareness of OWASP to the greater developers communities.
That's interesting. So then let me ask you, how did you get educated when it came to application security?
Wow, that's a good question. If you look at my OWASP journey, I have been the chapter lead for 18 years.
Wow.
So, well, it started off with me being able to hack software during my younger days. You know how we hack the games so that we can get superpowers, I think. So it started from there. I said, hey, wow, I can just hack the save file and I gain superpowers, right? So it then behooves us to look at why did the software allow me to do that? So that started my journey into looking into application security, how to hack games actually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool. And James, you've worked with a lot of customers when it comes to application security. Are there certain things that you steer people towards to get themselves educated?
Yeah, so I think in many cases we learn a lot of from the field. So that's actually very sad because meaning the learning from the field means some bad thing happened already in the field, and we learn from that case. But the good thing is like the OWASP, those experts announced the very commonly see the vulnerabilities we can see in the different industries. So in these days. More and more people realize the application security is very important and is a very important component in their business as well. So I can hear a lot of the many good feedback about the OWASP, and they are trying to learn and catch up.
Yeah. I know specifically for F5, like we sort of start with OWASP Top 10 in mind. As our solutions are being developed, it seems like we kind of map things to OWASP Top 10. From a chapter education perspective, is that where you get people started when learning about application security?
Yes, I would say OWASP Top 10 is perhaps, in terms of mindshare, is perhaps one of the most popular artifact, most well-known artifact for OWASP. And it does provide a simple introduction to developers who are keen to learn more about AppSec, application security. So yes, I always advise that you should start with OWASP Top 10 before you move to Top 25, right? So, biased statement here. So, so yes, I'll say this is an ideal starting point. But I just want to highlight Top 10. You shouldn't stop with just what's the current Top 10, because you should look into the prior versions of Top 10. Because even though they may not be in the current Top 10, they could be the 11th or the 12th risk. So, do look back into the previous versions of Top 10. So that you can, be more comprehensive in your knowledge of AppSec.
Right. Yeah. Just because the top 10 was updated doesn't mean your application was updated at the same time with less vulnerabilities.
It's true. For example, we still hear about IDORs, insecure direct object reference vulnerabilities. Though the term IDOR is no longer in the OWASP Top 10, it has been subsumed under other names, and IDOR was explicitly mentioned in the older version. So again, that's where I would like to invite everyone to look at the previous versions of Top 10 so that you can learn how application vulnerabilities or risks has morphed and changed over time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And maybe for James, like, are you noticing when customers come to you and ask about application security, do they start off asking about OWASP Top 10 right away, or is that something you introduce them to?
Many customers ask us, hey, your solution can stop the top 10 vulnerabilities listed by the OWASP, but more important thing that we are seeing the more and more the real world breach case happen related to the OWASP vulnerabilities. So I especially want to highlight the recent breach happened in Asia. So that is happened because of the 3 vulnerabilities already listed in the OWASP. That's one is the excessive data exposure. The other one is the broken object level authorization. And finally, the shadow API problems. These 3 are the main problems, and because of these 3 problems, the big enterprise in Asia, they experienced a very big, the personal data breach happened. But the important thing is OWASP already announced these top 10 lists 3 years ago.
Wow.
So that's why the people need to watch the OWASP top 10 list and understand very carefully.
Awesome. Okay, so for Anxi, just wrapping things up then, perhaps how does somebody get started with their OWASP journey? Like, how do they get in contact with a chapter, or do they start just reading stuff online first, or where do you suggest people go?
Well, first thing first, visit the website.
Yeah.
So, as the name says, everything on OWASP is open, right? So you are free to download, free to read, free to use. We just require you to acknowledge the copyright. Other than that, you don't pay anyone a single fee to use OWASP artifacts. So take a look at the websites. Do participate in your local chapter events so that you can be kept abreast about what's happening. And now, perhaps one of the silver lining of the pandemic is in Singapore case, when our chapter meetups evenings has moved from in-person to online, we managed to get participants from outside Singapore, from beyond Singapore. So we have participants from all the way from New Zealand to India, and even folks from Europe. So this is something that we couldn't have done during the pre-pandemic days, actually. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's really cool. Alrighty, so on behalf of myself, Anxi, and James, you're watching F5. We're at GovWare 2022. We're in booth M06. We're here all week. And otherwise, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, folks.
Bye.